Now, the first race for the Dopey, as I said, is the 5K, and it is a timed race for the Dopey Challenge participants only. For everybody else, it's not timed, and honestly, unless you're trying to set some sort of time for your whole challenge, there's really no reason to worry about the 5K. It is really a get up. It's literally a walk in the park being Epcot. You're gonna go to the staging area in the corrals in the parking lot. You're gonna have the stage, you're gonna have the guys up on the stage. There's all this light and noise and excitement. And if you don't like it really loud, take earplugs. And you're going to go, and they light off each wave with fireworks. And from there, for me, it was, there was a lot of people. It was just an easy jog and walk, and you go into Epcot, and you're going in right there near Mission Space, Guardians of the Galaxy, and you start your way around the World Showcase going clockwise. At least that's what they did a few years ago when I did it. And Epcot is all lit up. All of the torches are going. The stuff out in the middle of the lagoon is all lit up. Fountains are going, and they will have characters out. But you're out in Epcot at 3 a.m. It's all lit up just for you. They've got some characters out. There will be lines, and they were like 45-minute long lines for Cogsworth and Lumiere. There just wasn't any that were worth it for me to wait in the line for, but I did enjoy walking around, taking some pictures, and truly it was just a jog and a walk, and it was over. So I think a 5K, instead of my usual 30 something minutes, I finished in 45. Headed back to the room, took a nap, and went into one of the parks later in the day. So low exertion. Don't exert yourself on the 5K. And again, I enjoyed the parks, but I did not get carried away with the number of steps. I mean, it's easy to do the equivalent of a half marathon in the parks, if not more, walking around. But could do it. Keep yourself loose. Again, do your carb loading meal that night, and then try to get some sleep, because the next morning is the 10K. Now for the 10K, like all the races, so sorry if I keep repeating, you're gonna start at Epcot, the whole 9 yards there in the corrals. And if I am recalling correctly, you're doing a mix of Epcot and Hollywood Studios. And for me, a 10K is usually a little over an hour. I probably took hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half, because I am trying not to overexert early on. And I probably stopped for some pictures with characters. I don't recall whom or where at this point. But again, it's an easy mix of jogging and walking, and you're going to be done. And I think in my case, I had arranged for an early morning breakfast reservation. And keep in mind, the monorail does not run for the 5K or the 10K. So to get over to Magic Kingdom for a breakfast reservation meant I needed to get on a bus, not walk over to the monorail. But anyhow, you're over, you're done. Again, if you want, you can go take a nap. You can go get an early breakfast somewhere. You can make rope drop very easily, especially now that they're starting even earlier. But again, just walk it, jog it, take your photo breaks, and that's how you do the 10K. Same thing about going to the parks, do some walking around to stay loose. Just don't overexert. Do your carb loading meal that night and try to get some sleep. And the next morning is when it starts getting real, because that's the half. And I really enjoy the half. because of the timing. You're starting at Epcot, and the very first one I did, it was a cool, clear morning. There was a full moon overhead, and we came out of Epcot, and as we start toward Ticket and Transportation Center, here's the monorail swooping overhead on the concrete beam. And that was when I learned that the monorails have horns. And it's a curious honking sound. It's more like boomf, boomf. And I'm like, what am I hearing? This boomf, boomf. And I realized it was, as the monorails whooshed over, they were honking at us. So running under the moonlight and with the monorails in the pre-dawn darkness, just a really, really cool thing. And I am slow enough that the sun is usually coming up as we approach Magic Kingdom. And again, this is before they move the starting time up a little bit. So I tell people one of my favorite sites is sunrise over Space Mountain. And at the time we went into the Magic Kingdom, they circled us around, and we came in to Main Street next to Tony's restaurant, and then hung a right to go up Main Street, USA. More recently, it's come through the Ticket and Transportation Center, come in right there in front of the where you normally go into Magic Kingdom. And the last time I did it, they had the music crescendoing and all the lights there, and I just had to stop and do a full circle. It was like a whole Mary Tyler Moore show thing. If you're old enough to know, you know. I just had to stop and take it all in. It was just really magnificent. And I know it sounds cliche, but magical, yes, it was really cool. So I just stopped, took it in for a minute, and then headed down Main Street, USA, which is one of the coolest parts of the half and the full, because they let people in early, family, friends, they can get in early. And Main Street winds up being a narrow corridor because you get about half the road is it. And everybody's out there, and you got people leaning in with the high-fiving and all that. And you've got the castle in the distance, and it's lit up, and they've got the piped in music and all that. And then I get down in front of the castle, and it's usually do a picture or two. And then you head off toward Tomorrowland, and you circle around through Fantasyland, and you come out through the castle from the back to the front. And of late, they've started lining up a number of photographers in front of the castle. It used to be you had one photographer and you'd be trying to position yourself for them to catch you as you came out the front of the castle, and invariably you had a Mike Wachowski moment where, oh yes, somebody stuck their hand right in front of your face. So now they have the photographers out there, and I will jump off course and go wait in line, and you can get a nice picture of yourself with the castle behind you. And unless somebody else walks right behind you, it's just you. So that's a nifty thing to do. And by then the sun's coming up, and you head out through Frontierland and through backstage where they keep the boats for the water parade. And then you start down past the Grand Floridian and back and along the golf courses. And I am going to tell you this, that's some cool air coming off those golf courses first thing in the morning. So the first time I did that race, I tossed my sweatshirt right before I got to Magic Kingdom because I wanted my pictures without this El Cheapo sweatshirt. And tossed it and was quite comfortable. And then going down those golf courses, that was a chill breeze. So depending on the weather that you have that particular weekend, and if you follow any of the forums, you will find out race weekend can be anywhere from freezing to in the 80s. And some weekends it can start down toward freezing and get to the 80s. Plan accordingly, research as best you can. But I can tell you, whatever you're comfortable with in terms of attire, it gets cooler again after you get out of the Magic Kingdom. And it's not for long, it's for just 3 or 4 miles, but it's noticeable. So for the half, you come out and you go back down, you head toward Epcot, you're gonna do the big overpass, you're gonna come back in, and you're gonna finish. So for me, my half was like 2 hours and 40 minutes. And again, I stopped and did photos with the characters. And here's one of my tips is use the photo stops as rest breaks. Unless you've got the balloon ladies bearing down on you, use those rest stops or use those photo breaks as rest stops. And that's going to help you get through the races. Because if you get to where you can easily do a 10K, or if you get up to where you can do 10 miles, if you can do a 10K, that's half of a half. And so if you figure you do half of the half getting to the Magic Kingdom, and then you do a couple of rest breaks to wait on photos, and then maybe 1 or 2 on the way back, you're just doing back-to-back a couple of 10Ks with plenty of rest breaks. And that's how you get through the half. So I haven't worried about time. I've learned start PRing in fun. And so the half is essentially to me a couple of 10Ks broken up with rest breaks for photos and the walking intervals now. And that's how to get through that. And so I think about 2 hours and 40 minutes for my half marathon down there. And down there meaning Magic Kingdom. And get done with that, go get you some breakfast, maybe go take a nap. If you're gonna visit the park, some people make it a pool day. If you're gonna go to the park, again, keep it light, don't overexert, don't do a whole nother half marathon that afternoon in the park. Been there and done that. Boy, did I sleep soundly that night. But in that case, it was the only race for that weekend, and I was with the wife, so that's the way it goes. All right, so that gets you 3 out of the 4 races done right there.